Ryan, you know the Pennsylvania news quite well. Walk us through the status of where we are, Pennsylvania early voting, and what needs to happen tomorrow.
So right now, Republicans make up just shy of 34% of all the early votes in Pennsylvania. Those are absentee ballots that have been submitted. Now, I want to make something very clear. Just because I say Republicans did this or Democrats did this doesn't mean that's how they voted. It just means that that's the party that they're registered under. Democrats are just shy of 1 million absentee ballot results handed in. I think Republicans are like 568 or something like that. Democrats should have about a 420,000 absentee ballot lead over Republicans. That is significantly lower than in 2020. And I think it's pretty significantly lower, or just on par with 2022, actually. Republicans are just shy of overall their 2020 number. An interesting thing in my messages to you, Charlie, when we were chatting, Republicans have exceeded their 2020 turnout levels in almost every Western county in PA, almost every Northeastern county in PA, Southeast PA, the Philly collar counties, Philadelphia, Erie, and Pittsburgh is where they're behind, but so are Democrats. Where Democrats are exceeding their average overall turnout, where they're getting the closest to their 2020 numbers, are rural, super Republican counties that Trump won by huge numbers. I'm talking Potter, Tioga, Adams County. These are counties that Trump won with 66 to 70, close to 80%. The only way Trump gets those county numbers is that a lot of ancestral Democrats, people who are registered Democrat but vote Republican, cross over and vote for Trump. That's where the strongest numbers are. Part of me thinks, is there something going on right now where we're seeing very conservative Republicans voting in very large levels, but we're also seeing crossover Democrats voting in very high levels? We obviously won't know the answer to Election Day, but it's a very interesting data set. What has to happen right now on Election Day, Democrats have eaten about 34% of their high propensity voters. That means they're already banked. They still have 2/3 left. Republicans haven't even had a fifth of their very high propensity voters out. So they have a lot more bullets in the chamber as far as new voters come out. What needs to happen is the new Republicans, low propensity Republicans, need to show up in mass and blow it out of the water. The good thing going for Republicans right now is that Philadelphia is only 43% of where it was in 2020. For every one vote that they don't get out of Philadelphia, they would need to have 2 or 3 voters show up because of how the demographics are, how their voting trends are in the collar counties, in the white college-educated suburban counties. That becomes very hard as that number grows, especially if the rurals blow through 2020 numbers and other places don't get there.
So let's just kind of educate the audience. Let's say if I tell you 5 million people vote tomorrow in Pennsylvania, just turnout numbers by 6 p.m. Eastern, does that make you feel good for Trump's chances or not so good?
It depends if they're in Philadelphia or not. I mean, that's really where it is.
That's a good answer.
If we wake up tomorrow and Philadelphia has lines 16 blocks long, well, then that's a very big problem. I will say it is very interesting that the celebrities that Kamala Harris has going to Philadelphia are Lady Gaga and Oprah Winfrey. Those are not voters. Those are not celebrities that appeal to, let's say, black male voters. Those are celebrities that appeal to white female voters. Believe it or not, Oprah's audience is very, very white. That sit there and go to Montgomery County, Chester County, Delaware County. That's, I think, where she's sitting there and landing at the very, very end. And I think that's where she's sitting there and trying to get the appeal. Black and minority turnout is down nationwide right now. It's down in Virginia, Georgia, North Carolina, Minnesota, Nevada. It is down in Philadelphia. If they decide to all show up tomorrow, it will be a game-changing election. I would probably expect Kamala Harris to be our 47th president. They tend to be early voters, though. So it's about Republicans actually showing up and waiting in line, regardless if it's 4 or 6 hours. And listen, I called my old realtor who lives in Pennsylvania. I called an ex-girlfriend. I called literally every person I knew who lived in Pennsylvania. And I said, make sure you're voting and who are you bringing to the polls? My old roommate from when I was 21, I called and said, is your dad voting? Like every single solitary person. If you can do it, if you can call the person who you know you can't rely on to bring an extra meal for dinner or at a potluck dinner, make sure they're voting. It's the unreliables that need to go out because the
Yes.
votes are there. One of the most important things that most people don't know, last year when the Governor Josh Shapiro did an automatic voter registration enrollment for people where they get the driver's license renewed, Republican enrollment spiked because there were 2.66 million non-college educated Americans in Pennsylvania who were not registered to vote at the time of the 2016 election. This is according to 538. A lot of them are registered now. It's about going to vote for the very first time ever. A lot of people in their 50s and 60s. It can happen. In Georgia, 45% of all first-time voters right now in Georgia are over the age of 50. I know 3 people in my personal life are over 60 first-time voters. It can happen. Go do it.
I want to just be clear, everybody. Seltzer could be right, but she'll definitely be right if we don't show up. Ryan, thank you so much. Email us freedom@charliekirk.com. Thank you. Tell me your plan to vote and bring another person to vote. No sitting on the couch.